Meanwhile, I want to give the welcome to the early visitors: Ayub, Senor, Jali, Olga, Viva, Sharp, John, Monjit, Crypto, Count, Carl, Ipodo. Hi, friend, Brent, Pastor, and Typical. Glad to see you here, finally. And he's requesting, I think I can, let's see. I see you have requested the mic. I hope that Tonya can give it to you. And we're just 1 minute away.
So typical Tiger NFT should be co-hosting. There we go.
What's going on?
Hi, I want to make you the co-host.
Awesome. Yeah, I got it. I just got it.
Oh, that's perfect.
What's up? What's up? Let's get Carol up here.
Oh,
and then let's get Edwin also up here. And then give me 1 sec while I post this link in my Discord and Twitter so we could get some active people. This link for the Twitter space happening now. What's going on, guys?
Hey, all you cool cats and kittens. I see Edwin up here on the second row. If somebody can invite him in as a speaker.
Yes, I will do that in 1 second after I send this link for the Twitter space.
And tonight I have my
hi, Carol. Well,
desk in here.
What's up, Carol?
Exactly. Carol, I want to give you the welcome as one of the two co-hosts, and we're very happy that you are accompanying us, and we would like to know and share with you everything that can be done and said to save the big cats. Okay, so take your time for answering about the main threats for these animals and what can be done with great initiatives like that. Okay, thank you very much for your fight to 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 the freedom and natural living of these wonderful animals.
Thank you very much, Carlos. Where are you from?
I am from Caracas, Venezuela, and I'm actually there. I'm in Caracas right now, and it's a tropical country. We don't have. It's not usual. Uh, we don't have tigers as in India or Africa. Just like it's not usual to have the a free population. We have other type of carnivores or animals, but tigers are having only on this zoos and all style zoos, and many people have started a fight to try to free them from this kind of old style zoos, which are the worst for them.
All around the world, we're seeing so many people decide that these magnificent animals just do not belong in cages. And so we've seen a number of countries where they have actually banned zoos and circuses that keep these animals captive. And that just warms my heart because we have to do that in order to save them in the wild where they belong.
Yes, totally agree, and sometimes it's so sad. I mean, to see you, because I think one of the biggest phenomena we have enjoyed through the web and through the magic of social media is we have been being closer and closer to animals. I mean, I think that this last year, the latest years of so many wonderful pictures of animal situation with animals. I mean, I have been person. I am 60 years old, and I am discovering in myself that I did live mistakenly a lot of years, because I am feeling now that the animals are actually persons in a different shape. I cannot see them like animals. I mean, it's just like it's so wonderful. The soul, the feelings they show. I mean, you have photographic and video proof of animals helping each other. Animals that supposedly are enemies, like the cats and dogs, and it's not true. I mean, there are many wonderful videos of cats and dogs being wonderful friends and sleeping together and stuff, and helping. So I think that will make the job of freeing the tigers easier, because I think the people are gaining conscience about the reality of what animals are really for this planet.
I think you're right.
So Tonya, tell me what.
I have a surprise. I just loaded up and now I have it all queued up. Hey, everybody, welcome to our second edition of NFT for a Cause. I'm here with my co host, Carlos, and we're thrilled to be featuring Typical Tiger NFT about their project, Save the Tigers, and also a special guest, Carol Baskin, and talk about her project. And we're here today, but I'm going to go ahead and play a song that my good friend John and his son Jackson put it together, and I want to just really give him kudos because it's incredible. So, give me 2 seconds. I'm gonna go ahead and play this for you guys.
If I were a typical tiger, not the upper crust or big cat insider, basking in the sun, having tiger fun, just a normal cat, 'cause I'm okay with that. But I'm fuzzy when I'm young, cute when I lick you with my tongue. I'm the best you can get when you want to show off best. Take you to the park and I walk with you. Girls all come over and talk with you. You're a popular attraction. You're getting playboy action. You take me to the park and I walk with you. Girls all come over and talk with you. But the truth about us typical tiger is that you really like to stay quiet. I really want to eat you, child. I'll be a full-grown tiger and I will hurt you. I'm a carnivorous creature. What you gonna do? We're a popular attraction, but I'm gonna eat your action. Take me to the park and I'll walk with you. Girls, they all come over and they talk with you. You take me to the park and I walk with you. And the girls, they all come over and they sleep with you. So you're just gonna pass me to someone new. You're don't care where I'm going, it's okay with you. I'll be hunting in a cage somewhere away from you. There's a baby tiger shipping down to you. You'll take him to the park and they'll walk with you. The girls all come over and they'll talk with you. But the news, they did a story about a guy like you. And the things they do is just to sell you. And the girls, they come over and they yell at you. They give you the finger and make fun of you. They make fun of you. They make fun of you. They make fun of you.
Okay, we're all ready to go now. So I want to thank John for creating this song specifically for this Twitter space. And I guess he was talking to Carol and he interviewed her and everything. He's been working on this. He wanted to make sure the verse was understood, what he was, at the end, because it's not really, it's not cool at all to keep, the, tigers captive, any animals. This, it's supposed to be in the wild. So, thank you, John, for creating this for us tonight. So, hi everybody, welcome to our again. Like as I was saying, this is exciting NFTs for a cause. My name is Tanya Schultz. I'll be your host, and along with my co-host Carlos. Hi, Carlos. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Very happy. What a great song. I mean, I was mesmerized. Incredible tune. What a great surprise, a great musical surprise. And I think, well, I don't know if you agree, but I would like to give the opportunity to Carl and to Typical
Yeah,
Tiger NFT
yeah.
to introduce themselves
I
as
think
they
that'd be a great
wish.
idea. Let's start with Typical Tiger NFT, and because they're here to really to talk about their project. I'm going to be publishing a story about them, and it kind of like grew because I met I actually met them before they meant it, way before early in the day, and I'm like, oh yeah, Year of the Tigers, February 1st, and February 1st is like 2 weeks from now. It is actually. So I think this is a great time. They have a bunch of new stuff that they're launching, and one of the things that they're doing is to save the tigers. So Typical Tiger NFT, please tell us a little bit about yourself and your project.
100%. Well, first I want to thank you, Tanya. Yeah, we met back probably around a month ago. I forgot who originally connected us, but yeah, I want to thank you so much for your support and your help to grow this project and for taking the time to interview us. Before I do start, though, guys, I just pinned that top tweet there, just showing the space. If you guys could please like and retweet that, get some of your friends in here. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to having a good time tonight on that. So you can check that pinned tweet. But so about our project, me and all my friends who started this project, we're all very new to the NFT space. We got together in August and we were thinking, all right, what NFT project should we create? We were really, really intrigued by the space. We were looking at some projects and we were really, really inspired by the Lazy Lions project because we saw every single time on Twitter, someone tweeted about that they joined the community. They got so many people would be replying, showcasing their lions and all that. And I wanted to build an entire NFT community built around that concept as well, where everyone is welcoming each other, but at the same time wanted to do it in a way where we could give back as well. And so at that time in August, we discovered that there were no tiger projects that were established in the NFT community. And through our research, we also learned that tigers were a very endangered species. That's not something that, I'll be honest, not something that we knew before we started this project. So once we saw that number of 3,900, we figured this is the perfect amount to put for an NFT collection to make a nice cheap mint price at 0.03 with an exclusive collection of 3,900. and also donate proceeds to help saving those causes. And so with all of that plan, helping to save the tigers through the sale of NFTs, we figured it was a very easy project to get on board, very beginner friendly with a cheap price. And that's kind of how we first took off. And we minted on December 1st and ended up selling out the official collection on January 10th. So that's just a little about this project and some details. And we could get further on into the donations and all the utility on that a little later on as well.
And then in December, I was wandering around Twitter Spaces and I saw these typical tiger icons up at the top. And so I was curious about that and hopped into the Twitter space and was listening to all of the amazing work that they were doing. And I was impressed by the fact that Teddy knew that there were 3,900 tigers left in the wild and that he had chosen the number of NFTs based on the number of tigers left. And I thought, well, this is somebody that's really clever and somebody that's thinking this through. And so we started having a discussion. And on Christmas Eve, Edwin, who is here in the audience, reached out to me. He runs a sanctuary in Thailand, and he had the opportunity to rescue 11 tigers that had been left behind at the Phuket Zoo. They had shuttered their doors 2 years ago due to COVID. And so there was no tourism, no money coming in. And these animals were in pretty wretched conditions. And so Edwin said that he could do the rescue. He has the space, he could build out more space for the animals, but he needed a little bit of financial help. I reached out to several of the different communities that I had been talking with, and Typical Tigers jumped up immediately and said that their community would be happy to help fund the rescue of these tigers. And so Big Cat Rescue made a donation of $10,000 to the Wildlife Friends Foundation of Thailand, which is Edwin's sanctuary. And then the Typical Tigers, through their NFT sale, also donated $10,000. And so I just saw right before Edwin today had a live video that he posted on his Twitter. I think it was Twitter or Facebook Watch, where he was showing the work that has been done to his facility to get ready for these tigers. And so I can't wait to hear Edwin tell us what the current situation is. I know that they've had a few setbacks there waiting on permitting and COVID and such. And we've all known what that's like to be dealing with setbacks due to COVID. So I'm really excited about updates from Edwin tonight.
And do we?
Well, I want to add some, yeah, just a second. I want to before introducing giving the mic to Carl too. I want to share with you something that I preparing for the show. It just shocked me. The amount of tigers left in this planet, it doesn't reach. It's less than 4,000. Okay, so I want to share that number with you to get you in your conscience. I mean, can you imagine the size of this planet? I mean, and there are only 3,900 tigers left. Okay, that's the estimated. So it's a terrible situation. It's not a total danger of extinction, but definitely they are in the road to extinction. That has to be stopped, and the best way to stop it is to send them to their natural environment and give them the freedom to develop as nature intended from the first moment. Thank you.
Yes, and Carlos, so you're 100% right. That's exactly why we chose that number of 3,900. And I say this a lot, but I'd like to keep stressing it. I can't tell you how many times I've joined a Twitter space or I've told people that number. And that's why we have that collection number of 3,900, because it's not your average, 2,000 piece, 5,000 piece, 10,000 piece that all of these NFT collections are doing. It's a very distinct and specific number. And that gets people asking questions, and it's the right questions that we want people to ask, because it's that awareness factor that gets put in on this project as well. They say, why 3,900? That's such a random number. And that's where we have the opportunity to inform them about the current situation. And that's when it's very eye-opening for all these people.
I think another huge misconception is that all of the cats that are in captivity can go free. And the fact is, not one of the big cats who are in a cage currently are legal to be set free. It's against the law, and it would be unethical to take an animal who's born in a cage, raised by humans, and turn it loose in the wild where it has no ability to fend for itself. And that doesn't mean that they can't kill things. They can kill things. The problem is they just don't know how to manage themselves. So there was a Animal Planet show a few years ago that did a huge disservice to tigers because there were these scam artists who convinced everybody they were going to take these very rare Chinese tigers to South Africa, teach them how to hunt, and then take them back to the wilds of China and release them. And the whole thing turned out to be a scam, but it was on Animal Planet and people believed it because it was Animal Planet. We trusted Animal Planet to not be lying to us about what was happening. But behind the scenes, people said that what happened was, even though they could teach the tigers to hunt, when they would turn them loose in these big pens with all of these other prey animals, they would just kill everything in the cage. And they'd have to go out and get all of these new prey animals. And as soon as they turned the tigers loose, they killed everything in the cage immediately. And so they didn't know how to pace themselves, which is something their mothers would have taught them in the wild. And so when you have a big cat like that going into an ecosystem and just totally wrecking it, it does more damage than good. So we actually have to stop breeding them for life in cages and divert our attention to protecting the ones that are in the wild currently and saving them.
Perfect. And we would like to hear Carol, so I would like to give the mic to her. So I would like to know what worries you, Carol, more about this situation, the tiger's survival situation. What's your biggest worry and the biggest thing the most urgent thing that should be done to help the tigers?
I think we will lose the tiger in the wild in the next 5 years or so if we don't stop the captive breeding of these tigers. And the reason for that is that the captive animals are creating a legal smokescreen for illegal activity like poaching. So, right now in the United States, if you get caught with a tiger tooth necklace, you can just say that was your pet tiger and nobody can do anything to you. Whereas this is an endangered species and it should be 5 years in jail and a $20,000 fine if you're caught with a tiger tooth necklace. But because we have all of this breeding, which is being done just so people can have their pictures made with cute little cubs, that those animals can only be used until they're about 12 weeks old, and then they can take a finger off a child. So they go from being a very lucrative, money making photo prop to being discarded by the time they're only a few months old. And then within a year, they could be a couple 100 pounds, and private owners are not prepared for cats cost us $10,000 per year per cat just to take care of those cats, and they can live into their 20s. So usually by the time that cat's a year and a half to 3 years old, people get rid of them. They dump them on sanctuaries. So the biggest thing that we're working on at Big Cat Rescue is banning cub petting and phasing out the private ownership of big cats. And we have to do that so we get rid of that current legal trade and smokescreen so that we can protect them in the wild where they actually belong. And my biggest worry is we won't do this in time. We're hoping to get this bill passed this year. But if it doesn't pass this year, I'm worried that we will lose the tiger in the wild.
Wow, that will be a disgrace.
That's really scary. That's the tigers are like part of the animal kingdom, isn't that? Isn't that what they're known for? That's what you were raised, you were taught as a kid, as tigers, tigers and bears. So the fact that we only have that many tigers left in the world, that's extreme. That's something we all should be, stop for a minute and think about what we're doing these days. And so I remember reading a story about that young man that had like, was it a tiger or he had something he was hiding in LA? Did you guys remember what I was talking about? Like, it's so crazy how people are like getting the wild animals as pets, and then they don't think the consequences as they get older. Carol.
Yeah, there's a lot of those kinds of stories of people losing track of their tigers running loose in Houston last year. I think there were 2 cases of that last year. And the biggest thing is, I mean, again, Animal Planet ran a poll years ago asking who was the world's favorite animal. And the favorite animal, everybody thought it was going to be dog or cat. It turned out to be tiger. And if we can't save the tiger, we can't save anything. So this is why it's so critical that we figure out a way to save the tiger in the wild before it's too late, because otherwise just the entire animal kingdom is doomed.
So I'm from Central Florida. Do you? And I used to. I don't. I think they shut down, but the Ringling Brothers Circus. Do you remember that, Carol?
I do.
Yeah, I would. I actually had them as an account a long time ago. Actually, long, like talking about 25 years ago. But I had to call in and fill up their like first aid kits, and I look at all these animals, and it was so sad. They were just in one cage sitting there, but they had mostly elephants out there. It was really crazy. So yeah, I just don't think it's right. I think we should be preserving our wilderness and our animals. So Typical Tiger is doing this project, Typical Tiger NFT. I'm curious how far are you guys as far as can we talk a little bit about your campaign, your roadmap? Can we talk a little bit about that since I have you here? Because I want to know.
Yes, 100%. Also, I would love also to get Edwin up here, so he could kind of update the situation in Thailand and just, speak to the rest of the community because he's the one, on the ground doing all the hard work. Edwin, if you are listening here, if you click that mic button, request to speak, or the little check mark where I just invited you to speak, you could come up here and update the audience on that. And so, as far as our roadmap, so we are in the process right now of updating the complete, new roadmap 2.0 that we have coming out now that we minted out and have more funds to be investing in bigger things. But just to go over some of the main talking points of our roadmap. So we plan to do a few things. One, it's continue to get these donations in and help support the current rescue that's happening in Thailand with those 11 wild tigers. So as far as the donation side, we have, as Carol said, donated $10,000 to that effort. And we have also donated $6,858 to another organization called Tigers Forever, which helped fund anti-poaching patrols for 3 months in the jungles of India there. So on the donation side of tigers, that's where we're at right now, and still plan to donate more, some percentage of the royalties, as well as more of the mint to go towards that. Additionally, we are still waiting to offset our entire carbon footprint of this project. So we partnered up with a company called Carbon Base that is tracking our footprint, and we're going to end up funding some projects that they have, and they're in the process right now of calculating that footprint. We sent them all the transactions from the gas fees, and they're going to be coming back to us with that number and how much we need to donate. So going a little bit more on the utility aspect, so to celebrate the Year of the Tiger in 2022, we are going to be releasing an entirely new collection of baby cub tiger NFTs. And that collection is going to be a free mint for all Typical Tiger holders on a 1-to-1 ratio. So if you own 3 Typical Tiger NFTs, you are going to be able to mint 3 baby cub tigers for free. You're only going to be paying a gas fee there, and there is going to be separate utility for those baby cubs. And that is planning to come out in sometime in February. We are working out all the details on that. And then additionally, we are planning on releasing Treehouse NFTs for banners. As I was saying, continuing donations. And then we also have some metaverse plans as well, which will be announced when we release that second roadmap. So I hope that answers the question just in roadmap basis.
Wow, that's
Okay.
great.
That's wonderful. I wanted to ask Carl one question because these efforts can produce helping money for saying in some form. What can do any person listening to this space, the common people, what can do to help? I don't know. I'm thinking of signature, collecting signatures, or or doing I don't know what civil movements or things can be done to try to stop this illegal smoke screen, how you call it, because I see clearly that that's the biggest threat. Sorry, and what can we do? What can we do from the people in the street? What can be done?
Thank you for asking, Carlos. Actually, there's two things people can do. So, if you're in the United States, the biggest thing you can do is contact your member of Congress and ask them to support the Big Cat Public Safety Act. That bill does two things: it bans cub petting and it phases out private ownership. And so people can do that at bigcatact.com. When you go there, you just plug an address. The system will know who your member of Congress is. It gives you an email that's already written for you. All you have to do is hit send. You can also send a tweet. It knows who your member of Congress is based on your address, and it'll send a tweet to your representative and your senators. And then if you'll also make the call of the wild, where it actually dials your member of Congress for you. It gives you a little script, a short script to just say, please ask your boss to co-sponsor the Big Cat Public Safety Act. And if you're shy, do it at night or on the weekend. You'll just be leaving a message on an answering machine. That's the best thing you can do in America. But if you are anywhere in the world, I think the best thing you can do is anytime you see somebody touching a cub or walking a lion on a leash or a tiger on a leash or having a cheetah in their car, call them out on that. They're only doing it to try and be cool. And John's song at the beginning of this was talking about how people think they're cool when they do that. And if they know that we know that they are cruel, not cool, they'll stop doing it.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes it's a problem of tradition, just like the bullfighting in Spain, Mexico, and many places. I mean, we know how cruel is the torture that the bulls have to go with the bullfighting. And it's totally criminal and incredibly painful for those animals, and especially all the things that they do to the bulls before they get into the arena. It's horrible, just horrible. So I'm astonished about the cruelty of humans, and they call that cultural spectacle, and there is no way that can be culture ever in life. So I would like to ask
We have Edwin
Tiger.
here too. I wanted to make sure we give Edwin the mic because he's really important because he's in Thailand. So he's not
Yes, yes. Sorry, exactly.
no
Go ahead.
worries. Hi Edwin, how are you?
Hi, good evening, everyone. It's 7 o'clock in the morning here, so yeah, but you guys are all on the American continent, so I guess it's good evening to everyone. And I'm good over here, thank you.
Good evening. Can you tell our listeners a little bit about yourself and your work in Thailand?
Yeah, well, but basically, I started the Wildlife Rescue Center 21 years ago in Thailand. I mean, I'm Dutch originally, but I live in this country for 32 years, and after seeing the suffering of wildlife being kept as pets at people's homes, I mean, just like in America, the richer people, some of the people in power, like to show off their power by having, you know, animals in captivity, like tigers and lions, and you know, even chimpanzees or orangutans. And I saw this suffering of these animals being kept really wrongly and sometimes dangerously, actually, to the owners themselves as well. And I wanted to set up something like a solution. And it started very small 21 years ago with only primates, only with monkeys and gibbons and apes. But after being on Animal Planet and Discovery Channel a few times, people learn about our work, and I got everything. Currently, we take care of about 800 animals, including 25 elephants. I got 35 bears, about 90 gibbons, over 300 monkeys of different kind of species. We have even an orangutan, a chimpanzee. And this week, the first of the 11 tigers will arrive. So, yeah, besides that, we got lots of other wildlife. I mean, even a puma that just was kept as a pet, what you call a mountain lion or a cougar. And lots of other wildlife, just, you know, whatever people have kept as pets or what is injured in the wild by cars or electricity, because some animals climb power poles. So about 800 animals of all kind of species. That's what we keep over here at our rescue center.
I can hear them. How cool is that? And everyone, don't forget, this space is being recorded actually on 2 platforms and streamed out at the same time. So I want to give you guys that disclaimer. But let me ask you something. Did you meet Carol first, or did you the typical tiger NFT? Who met who first?
I met, I mean, basically, yeah, when I heard about the tigers at Phuket Zoo, that's actually today, exactly a month ago, actually, that I heard about it. You know, I was thinking, wow, 11 tigers, that's a big rescue. We've had the confiscation of tigers in this country. One time, the government, the authorities actually confiscated 148 tigers from a tiger temple in Thailand, which was like a kind of a petting zoo, the kind of zoo that Carol, you know, mentioned earlier, where people made selfies and walked with tigers and stuff like that. But that was a confiscation, not really a rescue. And of course, when I thought about 11 tigers to be rescued, I was first thinking that's, you know, financially impossible. But then some people said, well, you should get in touch with Carol. And of course, I've heard about Carol in the past. I've been working very closely together with organizations in the US in the past, especially with Gibbons in South Carolina. And people said, well, you send her an email. You're not going to get a reply probably, but, you know, just try. I think it took 4 hours until Carol replied to me and said, I want to help. So I was very pleasantly surprised. And one of my staff members that said, you're never going to get an answer, lost a bottle of whiskey. So it's a good thing. And then Carol introduced me to Typical Tigers, I think only days after our first contact.
Wow, I love that. That's an incredible story. That's fantastic. And Carol, we really appreciate how down to earth you are. So and the fact that, you know, Edwin said, you know, you responded within 4 hours. What were your thoughts? I mean, do you respond that quickly for everybody? Because that's really quick.
It should shock no one that I answer all of my own emails, and I get hundreds of them every day. I actually knew Edwin for years because we both are on the Species Survival Network listserv, and Asia for Animals, and a number of other organizations that are working on policy issues and trying to change laws and hearts and minds all around the world. And I knew people within those same networks who had been to Edwin's facility, Wildlife Friends Foundation, that it was a really good place. It was large. The animals had a lot of space, and that Edwin ran a good ship. Um, I don't know what you call it. He ran a good sanctuary, and so I felt like it was something that we could trust him to rescue these cats. And the only reason it took me 4 hours to answer him, I usually answer really quickly, but you know, making a commitment like that, I had to talk to some members here at Big Cat Rescue, including my husband, as to whether or not we could afford to do that, because we've really been strapped the last couple of years due to COVID. But it was something that really needed to be done, and I felt like it was worthwhile to do it. So I can't thank Edwin enough for taking on those cats, because I know that there's probably nothing out there that he could take on that's going to cost him more than a tiger is every year. And I'm hoping that the Typical Tigers community will adopt a cat or two and make that their project to take care of that cat or cats the rest of their lives. This is just the first part, rescuing them and getting them to his beautiful facility. I saw a little bit of the things that you did there today, Edwin, on your live, and maybe you can talk about the accommodations that you've built for these cats, because they're going to have more room than they have ever had in their lives there. And it's the only option for them. They can't go free. So this is the best thing that can happen to those cats.
Yeah, so basically the facility that we're currently getting ready. Well, actually, there are 3 main enclosures that we have built. The largest one is ready, and it has 4 side enclosures. So basically, I could have up to 8 cats in there, but I think we're going to go for 6 in that enclosure. It's about 25,000 square meters. No idea how many square yards or whatever square feet that is. I'm not very good in math, but it's massive actually. And they have a place to run, they have a place to swim, a couple of little ponds and a large pond. They got climbing facilities where they can jump up and sleep higher up, but they do in the wild as well. We have to give them the best life possible, as close to nature as possible. As Carol said earlier, the rehabilitation and release back to the wild of large cats, and in particular tigers, who live actually on their own, solitary, unlike lions that live in prides. It is almost impossible, and until now it has been impossible to release tigers back to the wild. So although we all hope, of course, that animals can go back to the wild, it is, for some animals, and especially with tigers, it's almost impossible until now. Where I'm sitting right now at my rescue center, it's only about 10 miles, 15 miles until the national park, Thailand's biggest national park, where still around 20 or 30 tigers live in the wild. Thailand still has about 180 tigers living in the wild in total. And they're under threat. I mean, only a few days ago, a couple of villagers killed 2 tigers at the Thai-Burma border. They claimed that the tigers, they were eating their cows. But the question, of course, is what are your cows doing in the middle of the jungle? We're talking about not only the breeding of tigers in captivity as a threat to them, because it kind of creates a gray market. People don't really know what the tiger parts they're buying are actually from tigers from captivity, from farms, or if they are actually specimens that came out of the wild, which is a big threat to the wild population. But also, of course, the fact that humans, that we have the right to go into every natural habitat of tigers. We can just raise our cows in the forest. We can just go in the forest as we please, and then putting out, for example, traps to catch wild boar or some deer. But of course, when you put out a trap, anything can get in the trap and get caught and be killed. So yeah, this is something that we need to work on, and education, of course, is very important. And in some countries, unfortunately, the education isn't as good as in other countries. So at least with the rescue tigers that we will take in this week, the first trip will be this week. I've got the permission by the Minister of Natural Resources and Environment of Thailand to pick up the tigers. I'm just waiting for one visit of the head inspector of the Department of National Parks and Wildlife to basically say, yes, that the enclosure is okay, up to standard and safe. And then we'll start driving immediately to pick up the first 4 or 6 tigers. But the point is that these tigers have still value for conservation. They can't go back to the wild, but the tigers being rescued and being taken here are still having some value, as we can use them for education. We have school kids from around Thailand coming here on trips, educational trips to the rescue center. They see the tigers in their large enclosure. They know the story behind the tigers. And at least for those kids, when they go home, some of them in the rural villages on the side of the national parks and the jungle of Thailand, they tell their parents that they have to stop hunting and stop the bushmeat and stop the trade in wildlife parts. So as I think it was Carlos who earlier said about putting them back to the wild. If we can't put them back to the wild, they still have a very big educational value. So I think that's very important to mention as well.
Thank you for your words, Edwin. Your explanations are really clarifying and very useful to this space. And I would like to go back to NFT, Tonya, if you about this the help that this NFT's effort represent, and I would like to know also what will be if you could ask a tiger. Let me ask this question to Carl first. Carl, if you could ask a tiger what makes him happier, what's the thing that makes a tiger happier?
Well, for captive tigers, I know the happiest time of the day at the sanctuary is feeding time. We feed every morning about 7:30 in the morning, and they are just all up doing happy dance every morning that time of day.
Carol, you have videos of that, right?
I'm sorry?
You have videos of that, correct?
Yeah, if you go to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Big Cat Rescue, we have over 500 videos. And some of the most popular are the cats, because that's what they love to do best.
Oh, I would like to invite everybody listening to retweet the link for this space. We have 15 minutes left, so I will ask Tonya what you want to do now. Maybe I don't know if we can take one question or two from the audience.
Yeah, of
Maybe.
course. I just gave a bunch of mic to everybody. So, if you want to ask a question, please go ahead and raise your hand, and or grab the mic. And I had given the mic to Galaxy Knights. I didn't know if you had a question for us, and
Oh,
also
hey,
a daughter
sorry,
Go
sorry.
ahead.
Hey, how's it going? Hey, my name's Kyle. Basically, I was doing this room because I didn't know about this project up until now, and just reading about it and seeing what you guys are doing is actually really amazing. I I love animals, all sorts of animals, and you know, going to a zoo kind of makes me a bit sad sometimes. But you know, I do love this project, and I've just seen that you guys are doing so much for it, and just hearing Edwin speak about what he's trying to do, just oh, that's amazing. And basically, I just want to say thank you guys, because we need people like you. You know, because the animals can't talk, they can't say anything, so we need to be their voice. And that's all I have to say. I just want to say thank you so much for what everyone's doing. And yeah, that's all. Sorry to take up the the microphone, but yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful, incredible. We felt your emotion. Thank you for sharing your emotion with us.
Nah, cheers.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. Yeah, I really appreciate what you guys do, and yeah, keep doing it. And you guys got to say, you guys are gonna kill it.
Thank
Great.
you. And we also have on the stage CJ. Did you have a question? CJ, glitching
And
crazy.
also, you know, I just wanted to thank Galaxy for coming up and for showing your support. Really appreciate that. You know, this is actually the first time that we were able to participate in a tiger rescue, through the sale of NFTs. This is the first time that, you know, an NFT project has collaborated and helped save those tigers. So I really want to thank you guys for all your support, because every single person that you see with the typical tiger profile picture in this audience helped contribute to that. And as Edwin was saying, this is just the first step in just rescuing them. Obviously, they have an entire sanctuary that they would have to maintain. And as Carol was saying earlier, definitely love to maybe adopt a tiger or two and kind of have that as, you know, part of that typical tiger community. And also, Edwin, I remember you were saying that we'd be able to have some cameras set up so we could watch them, or we could always live stream it, and always kind of look after it and see how that tiger has been growing and living throughout its life. So really want to thank Edwin first for all of his hard work and making this possible, and for every single one here in the audience and the entire typical tiger community for coming together in order to also fund this project as we've been doing for the past month or so.
And I wanted to also ask you real quick, since we're kind of, I'm going to like round up the space. It's 7:47, but let me ask you, what are other things you guys would be planning to do with your NFT community? Because with your community, pretty much we'd be providing tokens so they can watch the live stream. Because I was setting something up like that for my girlfriend's. She's she has these little ponies. She has a nonprofit. So, will you be doing that with Edwin as far as funding some type of a membership where people can buy a membership so they can or get a token and be able to watch the live stream of the Tigers? What are your thoughts on that?
So what we were thinking, and again, this is obviously all up to Edwin because he's on the ground there. We were kind of thinking of having like an always available live stream of that tiger, and maybe only people who own typical tigers part of the community can have access to that, or maybe put it available to the public. This is just the beginning of this process, as Edwin was saying. Still have a lot of things to get done to get the whole process moving, but we're definitely going to involve the entire community with this. Whereas, you know, this is the process that all came together to help complete. And obviously, always want to thank Edwin. Can't thank him enough for all the hard work that he's been doing there. But want to get the community involved 100% in this entire rescue and update them at every single point in the way, like we are doing now.
That's fantastic. That's exciting.
And
And
also, if I'm not mistaken, Edwin was saying how this would be the large, not just the first NFT rescue, the first NFT rescue through, sorry, the first tiger rescue through the sale of NFTs. But I think Carol was telling me this, or maybe Edwin, that this would actually be the largest tiger rescue in the history of Thailand.
Yeah, that's correct. It's indeed the largest one, and actually been contacted already by another zoo in Thailand that needs to be closed down. This is a zoo on the top of a shopping mall with hundreds of animals, and we actually promised them that we'll come and talk to them in the next couple of weeks after the tigers have arrived here, because I can't do too many things at the same time. Just to get back to your camera question, yes, I have actually installed a new Wi-Fi network at the tiger enclosures, where I can basically have a proper signal all around every enclosure, every corner. I'm still looking at the options of what kind of cameras and what kind of steering system I have to use for it. I'm not really that good with the streaming of videos. I mean, I can do one, but I would like to have actually something where people can be more interactive, so you can actually browse around maybe a dozen cameras around the enclosure and look around. So if anybody has any experience with it and knows at any software that we could use, let me please know, because I really want to do this. I think it's especially for the typical tigers, when you can actually see the tigers day and night with night camera. So if anybody has an idea what kind of software I should use or what kind of setup I could use, but please let me know by sending me a message on Twitter.
okay, I'm gonna follow you. Actually, I have it all written out for my girlfriend's farm. I have my friend. We were going to install it, but she's going to be renting it, so she's moving her farm further south. But it's a whole camera system and everything, and then you can program it and make it so that through the website you can um, program it so people can have like a membership with the tokens or whatever you want, how you want to set it up. But there's cameras, you can set it all up. You just got to figure out where you're going to feed it through. You know, like how would you be able to organize a camera and everything? So I have that system. I can send you the information. You can take a look at it. You probably can get a better price since you're over there, because we were looking on Alibaba for the cameras and we're not quite sure yet. And so, but I'll send it to you as far as the software he was talking about.
Thank
That'd
you.
be great fun.
I'm curious about something. I would like to ask a question to Typical Tiger. How did you get involved in this project? How was the content? What did you do together on board?
Sure. So when we were starting this project, we couldn't think of anyone better to help us, get the word out and help save tigers than Carol, the Tiger Queen herself. And so we actually found out that she was working with a different project, the NFT Jungle Collective, and we actually reached out to them. I was speaking to their project manager, and they were able to connect us and Carol. And we actually did one. We've done many, but we did our first Twitter Space interview style together. That originally she said that she was, I think Joy was saying how Carol was only able to stay on for 30 minutes, and we ended up going for I think like 4 to 5 hours, and we saw that it brought a lot of exposure on both ends.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, and we've ran many Twitter Spaces together and just hopping around, following each other. Carol and I have been in close contact ever since our original collaboration by help rescue these tigers in Thailand. And we definitely want to continue that and stay in close contact, because this collaboration has definitely helped us out by growing this project, and also it allowed us to actually find a specific cause that we could be attached to as a community together, and that we could follow through and see the entire process of this rescue. So yeah, I hope that answered. We met originally a few weeks ago and just been running a bunch of Twitter Spaces together and just getting the word out about not only our NFT collection, but also just educating people on tigers in general. I think Carol would agree. We've definitely had a lot of people up in this Twitter space where we were just informing them of facts that they had no idea about, which I definitely think goes a long way.
I also think that one enemy of the tigers is the misconceptions and the fake traditions regarding just like the magical powers of the parts of the body of the tigers. So there is a lot of things that are those are actually scams. I mean there's nothing scientifically proved about so many claims, and you know, and especially in countries in Asia, that maybe that is where you get the most cases of these things. I mean, you know what I'm talking about? A magical, a cure for baldness or for anything, or magical powers or better. You know what I mean? And that's terrible, because that's ignorance, pure ignorance, and the victims are the tigers.
Carlos, I would like to add a little bit to that. Living in Thailand, we see that people in Thailand themselves actually hardly poach or hunt tigers in the wild, but it's very often people from China, Laos, and Vietnam who believe that this is a great market for them. The market in China is growing over the years as the country became slowly richer. People believed in this traditional Chinese medicine, the fake medicine, but I like to call it. And a lot of tigers have been taken away from the wild in Indonesia, in Malaysia, Thailand, Burma, for example, and even India and Bangladesh, to end up on the traditional Chinese medicine market in China and Vietnam. And one of the biggest problems is that there's a very big lobby of people that are saying, well, we should allow the farming of tigers because that takes the pressure of the tigers in the wild away. Now, if you realize that caring for a tiger for 2 or 3 years might cost you $10,000-$15,000, you then understand that the price of such a tiger from a farm needs to be, you know, that kind of range, unless they have been exploited in the meantime for photographs and selfies. And, you know, then the price will be a bit lower. But taking a tiger from the wild, of course, is very cheap. You go into the forest, a couple of bullets, and that's all you spend, basically. So these farms actually are not helping to protect the tigers in the wild. As a matter of fact, they create a gray market where people cannot see the difference anymore, whether these tigers for the traditional medicine come from the wild or from farms. And this is a major problem. When we saw over the last few years that tigers were becoming more and more rare and the prices went up, the Chinese went slowly for lion bones instead of tiger bones. And our report, our investigation report from our foundation, will be published next month about this, how we've seen an increase of about 500% over the last 10 years in the illegal trade and legal trade in lion bones. So it's a massive problem. This traditional medicine doesn't help at all. I think if these people would just buy Viagra, they'll be much cheaper off. And I think Pfizer, for getting Viagra, should get the international conservation prize, because of them, people don't need those fake medicine anymore. But it's a massive problem.
Totally, absolutely. Hey, what animals do you have in your background? I mean, that's wonderful.
Well,
I'm listening to a couple of several birds. What kind of
you hear actually in the background, you hear also gibbons. Actually,
wow, gibbons,
they're
monkeys, yeah. Wow.
Yeah, they are apes. Yeah, they're actually lesser apes, we call them. We don't call them monkeys in English, we call them lesser apes. We have about 90 of them. You could hear them. There's a lot of birds. I mean, it's now almost 8 o'clock in the morning, so you know all the wildlife is waking up at the moment here.
Yeah,
So
it's incredible. I mean, can you imagine a better background for this space? I mean, this is just magical. It's incredible to have the.
But I heard you. I heard you saying in the beginning, Carlos, about the beautiful tigers in Asia, etc., etc. But you know, Venezuela also has about 6 or 7 different cat species in the wild, which I think some of them are amazing. It's not the biggest one, but I would love to see the jaguarundi in the wild, which you have in your country, and you even have the cougar and the jaguar, the pantera there. I mean,
yeah, that's true. Exactly. The cougar and the jaguar, they abound. They abound. Yeah. But there is, you know, there is a really sad. There is still another threat, and actually that's a problem here, because there is some kind of cultures that may just like some this religious belief, just love saint. I don't know how do you call that in English. I'm sorry, but these people do animal sacrifices due to religious beliefs, and it's criminal. I mean, they kill goats, they kill dogs, they kill things. I mean, and it's incredible how that has spread in the last 15, 20 years in many countries. But in Venezuela
That's
mainly.
why
The,
hosting these type of conversation, I think, is so important these days. Carlos, I'm sorry, but we're on a tight time crunch. We say 60 minutes, 60 minutes. It's 7:59
okay,
right now, and I did
okay.
so. But no, it's crazy. But I think most a lot nowadays is the more education and utilizing social audio and this type of platform and having the conversation and and also being aware of different NFT projects or raising awareness for certain animals or different things that just stop pop into space. So especially follow Typical Tiger NFT and definitely follow Carol Baskin and get more information. I actually was watching her YouTube video. Oh my gosh, and I'm a bit obsessed now because she does this whole news thing. Carol, can you tell us a little bit about that, and then we're gonna go ahead and it's so good actually. I was like, oh my gosh, she's keeping us updated.
I do a big cat briefing every day. And if you go to bigcatrescue.org/news, time news breaks about any kind of wild cat around the world, it'll be on that page. Thank you for that.
No, I was watching it. That's why I want to make sure. And then Adorable Delights, thank you for waiting for so long, actually. Did you want to ask a question? Because we're going to go ahead and wrap up the space.
Greetings and salutations from Saudi Arabia. And from the Adorable Delights brand. First of all, I'd like to thank everybody for all the amazing work that's being done for the typical Tigers in general. I've been a very close fan. I've been actually following you guys for at least, I believe, a month or 2 months now. The work you guys have done, the NFT community in general is a fascinating and a fantastic group. Um, I just like to show my appreciations to Carol. If you actually go into my account, I don't know how to post it up here, so I can't do that. But we actually created from the Adorable Delights brand. We actually created a tiger in the design of the Adorable Delights animals. So, and I would like to gift that to you through your OpenSea account if you have that. If you can share that, I can have that forward to you. You guys spread a very good news in regards to what's being done for the tigers. From what I'm aware of, there's 8 subspecies of tigers, and actually 3 of them have actually went extinct. The only ones remaining are the Banglo, the Indo-Chinese, South Chinese as well, the Amur, and the some terrain tiger. So what you guys are doing is a wonderful job. I'm very elated and happy to see a wonderful community and such a great cause. So even if I can help with such a small thing and just show my gratitude, that's fantastic. So thank you very much, everyone, for all the hard work. And I'm looking forward to seeing more and more of this activity. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. And I think Galaxy Knights, did you had your hand up? Did you want to make a comment?
Yeah, I just want to leave on a quick note. Since Adorable's giving away an NFT, I just remembered I have a whole lot of NFTs to give away. I've been giving them away for the last 2 to 3 days. So if anyone wants one, just message your wallet address. Don't post it. I don't want you guys getting scammed or hacked. Just DM it to me and I'll give you one. I'll give you my first NFT that I ever made. So yeah, that's all I wanted to end it on. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. I appreciate you. So go ahead. We're going to go ahead and do the final thoughts. And again, I really appreciate everyone for being here. Next week, we'll have the bees for as our special guest. And if you have any project coming up, please stop by and let me know. DM me or Carlos, and we'll feature you. And I really appreciate and Typical Tigers for being here. I want to go ahead and do final thoughts. I can't believe it's February 1st soon because I remember when we first talked about this project. And then Carol, oh my gosh, thank you so much. I fell in love with your YouTube videos. I learned so much. And final thoughts, Carlos.
No, I would like Carol to repeat the address of the main webpage where people can get the information, and especially regarding the Congress thing where people can get the mail to send to her Congress representative or their Congress representative. What's
So
the address?
if you're in the United States, it's bigcatact.com. And if you're anywhere outside of the US, you can't help us federal bill here. but you can go on social sites and let people know that are handling these cubs and these big cats that it's just not cool.
Exactly. Thank you very much. We are really honored to have you here, and thank you. I like typical tiger too. Your efforts and well, it's incredible what we're having hearing here tonight. Thank you very much for your
Thank you,
participation. And
fellas.
Tonya,
And typical tiger, NFT, your final thought?
Yeah, well, first, want to thank you guys for giving us the platform to speak and share our project. You know, it's spaces like these that allow us to get the word out and grow this community. It's crazy to think about. You know, this project. You know, we're all four childhood friends from grew up in Brooklyn, New York, together that just decided to create an NFT project. And it's crazy how we're all the way almost in February in 2022, and we're on a Twitter space with Carol and everyone here, and in an actual effort to save actual tigers. It's been such an incredible ride, but obviously we understand that this is just the beginning. Definitely got a lot of plans for the future in store for this project to grow it, and really appreciate everyone for coming out. And you know, I'm seeing so many of these typical tiger PFPs, and it's very humbling to see an entire community come out and support. And I cannot wait for what's in store in the future for this project, because we have so many fun plans, so much fun things to do, and definitely a lot more tigers to save. So I want to thank you, Tanya, Carlos, Carol, and especially Edwin for all the hard work that he's been doing in Thailand. And definitely get more spaces to come, and we'll definitely be in close contact with each other.
Thank you. And Carol, final thought.
Just thank you, everyone. Can't thank Edwin enough for reaching out and helping with those 11 tigers. And I'm glad to hear about the new rescue that you're talking about at the top of that shopping center. I've heard about that for years, and I'm so thrilled that that may be finally closed. And Typical Tigers, thank you so much for what you guys are doing to help with that. And everybody in this community, just thank you so much for caring about the tigers and doing something to actually protect them.
Thank you so much. And Edwin, final thoughts before we wrap it up?
Well, I want to thank everybody for reaching out, helping out. Actually, I'm going to make sure it's going to happen soon, and I'll keep you all updated on it. It's amazing to see that although we all live in different parts of the world, we all care about this issue with the wildlife conservation, and in particular tigers. So I'm very humbled by all the help by the Typical Tigers, and my dog won't shut up now. Sorry.
don't worry about that. Thank
Yeah,
you
no
for
worries.
Edwin for your contribution, and I think you can wrap it up, Tonya.
Well, I just give one more person the mic because I hate it when people wait. And so I can give one more mic, and then we're going to wrap up. And again, this is a recorded space. You can come back and re-listen to the space. It's streamed on YouTube. It's on Twitch. It's on Facebook. I mean,
You know what I was,
also on another. Go ahead.
Tonya, I was thinking something. Your typical tell us that the first space with Carl, it was supposed to last 1 hour or two, and it ended like 4 hours or something like that. I think we could take like close at 15 minutes more, 9:15.
I'm going
So
to give
go
the
ahead.
I'm
Go,
going to
go.
give the mic to Signora.eth. Hi, how are you? Did you have a question?
Hey everyone, how are you doing? I just want to say good work on helping tigers. I just wanted to ask, how can I donate to help more tigers? Just want to donate, but in my city where I live or the country where I live, I don't have much tigers. So yeah, do you got my
Well,
question? I just wanted to ask how I can do to the tigers to help them because I love cats.
Well, you go to Edwin's Twitter page, is Wildlife Friends Foundation Thailand. He's also on Facebook. I'm sure he has a donate page there that you could donate to.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your
Sorry for my bad English,
Oh,
guys.
no, you're fine. You're perfect, actually. Lonnie, you have the mic. You're the last one for the day.
Hi, thank you. I just had a simple question. So these tigers that are, is it 11 tigers that are being saved? are they going to Edwin's place, or are they going to Carol's PCR?
No, they're going to our rescue facility in Thailand. I think Carol King, if she wants more tigers, I'm sure she can get some more in the US. Actually, we were working on getting tigers from Europe, from the circuses, to come to us as well. And actually, that is still to be planned to be done this year. Anyway, because circuses in many countries in Europe are now illegal; they can no longer show wildlife. But no, the tigers will come to our rescue facility here in Thailand. So we got a big place for it ready. If you go through my timeline or you go to the Facebook page from the Wild Friends Foundation, you can actually see how that will be housed.
Okay, great. Thank you.
And I was going to say goodbye, but we have one more question because Brent is my co-host, and I think he's here. He's going to cover the story. So Brent, giving him the mic, he's been waiting for this space. We were talking about it earlier in the day. Hopefully he's getting good internet.
I'm approving him. Let me see if
There
I
he is.
can get.
Yeah,
Okay.
it shows that he's connecting right now. Wanted to say also, Carol does accept ETH as well from bigcatrescue.eth for donations if that's something that you'd be interested in also.
Well, thank you for that. And Lonnie, when we brought in tigers from Guatemala and from Peru, it was a 2-year process to do it. So it's wonderful that Edwin's right there in Thailand where these cats are, and it'll make it much more seamless. The only reason Big Cat Rescue was involved is because we can actually accept crypto. Most other sanctuaries and nonprofits don't. And so what we did was Typical Tigers made the donation to us, and then we turned it into cash and wired it to Edwin.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
I'm trying to get Brent, but
Yeah, you got him up here now.
I'm pushing the approve button, but it's not working.
Oh, there
There's a small
Hi,
glitch.
Tanya. You know I've been waiting for this space all day.
I know, he's been calling me all day. Brent, tell me the surprise. You said you had a surprise for me for when you get to the space.
Well, I decided to change my Twitter banner to save save tigers now.
Wow, I'm watching it. It's so beautiful.
Thank you, Brent, for all your support. I really appreciate it.
I will be writing a summary about this space.
Thank you. And where will it be published at?
I will publish it on Twitter.
Nice. Thank you. But also, Brent has press credentials. He works with CBC, so this is thrilling. I love watching Brent do his work and share his thoughts. And he's a huge community leader. So, and again, an incredible space host. I appreciate you for being here, Brent.
You're welcome, Sonia. Any time that has to do with NFT.
Thank you, Brent. So everybody have a great evening. Enjoy your Sunday. Enjoy some spaces. Typical Tiger NFT. When is your next space you guys are hosting?
So we are actually hosting another Twitter space tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern. Maybe a little bit more of fun chatting. We're giving away a humanoid NFT live on that Twitter space. So at 10 p.m. Eastern, we're going to announce it right after we close out this space. We got spaces, plenty throughout the week. We're going to have another one tomorrow at noon, for a little, because we wanted to do some early for some of the people on the European coast. And then we're obviously always, Tuesdays are always a lot of fun. We got spaces Tuesday, Wednesday. We got lined up for the whole week. So make sure you follow our account and join our Discord, which is linked in our bio there for all updates on Typical Tigers. And yeah, always happy to run spaces. And if any projects want to collaborate with us to run spaces, please let us know, because this has been our main method that we've been doing to grow. Absolutely been loving these Twitter spaces. So always happy to hop on with other projects.
Fantastic. And Carol, when's your next Twitter spaces? Because I know you're like incredible on it. So we want to know when's the next one so we can join.
I don't think I have any more lined up because I'm going to be in DC this whole week lobbying to protect tigers. I'm trying to get Congress to pass the Big Cat Public Safety Act. So if you guys go to bigcatact.com and make those calls now, that's really going to help me next week.
Good luck with it, Carol.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone. And I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the space. And I appreciate you guys for being here. I'm going to go ahead and play this song from Bamboo MC. I'm the co-founder of NFT Music Radio, and we just had a concert yesterday. So I'm going to go ahead and play this song because I think it's going to just get you guys in the mood because, you know, it's Sunday night. Get ready for Monday. And also, it'll get you a little happiness going. And Hartwell, I wanted to shut down, but Hartwell needs to ask questions. I'm going to give him the mic. Hartwell, I'm giving you the mic.
Oh, I don't see him requested right now.
I think he did. What happened? Well, on that note, everybody, have a great night. I appreciate you. I'm a Stick Up Kid by Bamboo MC. I'm getting you guys in the mood. It's Sunday. We got gratitude that we're all here tonight. And come on, guys, follow the Typical Tiger NFT and also follow Kara Baskin and Save the Tigers. And don't forget, come back to the space and you will be able to re-listen to this on a replay. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Tonya. Wonderful. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye.